Good afternoon. My name is Lucy Cadenas, and I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Harlingen. I would like to welcome each and every one of you here today for the special event of having the mayor talk to us about the State of the City address. I would like to ask all of you to please stand, and I'd like to have Bill Peacock come and lead us in prayer.
Please join me in prayer. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here today for the Rotary-sponsored State of the City, presented by our mayor and fellow Rotarian. What distinguishes a great city from a good city is that not everyone thinks alike, but rather a diversity of its citizens. In this invocation, I don't ask our leaders to bow your heads, but rather to look up to what you can accomplish by working together in a civil manner. I don't ask you to close your eyes, but to keep them open wide to the problems we face as a city. Our leaders work together on the behalf of all the citizens of our wonderful city. May they draw strength and encouragement from you, O Lord, through your compassion and reason. Finally, thank you for the Lord for the blessing of this food to the nourishment of our bodies. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Bill. Please remain standing as the City of Harlingen Police Department presents the colors.
Left, turn, march, pizza, halt, present, park.
You may please be seated. Oh, I'm sorry. Please stand again as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I apologize. I was just taken away by the saxophone. He was awesome. Colonel Hill.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you may be seated. But wasn't there? Saxophone player is from Harlingen High School, and his name is Ben Hasso. And he's an all-state musician and a drum major. He did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of him. All right. I'm going to ask Victor Leal to please come forward and acknowledge our dignitaries. Oh, there you are.
Good afternoon. This is a Rotary meeting for those of us that are Rotarians, welcome to our meeting. For the rest of you, welcome as our guests. I have a list, and of course I have the hardest job. I have to acknowledge people, and of course somebody's not going to be on my list, and so I'm going to apologize up front, but I'm going to do my very best. And some of these I'm going to ask you in groups to stand up so we don't have to announce every individual name, because most in attendance are either city employees or another elected official. So I'm going to start with Guy Bailey, UTRGV, Dr. Guy Bailey, our Cameron County Judge, Eddie Trevino. I believe I saw Precinct 4, Commissioner, where are you? Ah, there we are. And now we're going to go to the city. I'm going to start with District 1, Commissioner Richard Uribe. I saw you sitting there. Welcome. District 2, Commissioner Frank Puente. District 3, Commissioner Mike Mesmar. District 4, Commissioner Frank Morales. And District 5, Commissioner Rini Perez. I missed somebody. My coach, Senator Eddie Lucia. Senator, I think that's the last time I get to say that in public, that you're my coach from junior high. Representing our city manager, Gabriel Gonzalez. And our first group is anybody that's on the administrative staff with the city. If you'd stand up and be acknowledged. Thank you. From Representative Longoria's office, we have Paco Sanchez. From the city of Primera, we have Mayor George Ledesma. And so with that, we're going to acknowledge some of the other entities that are in and around Cameron County, around Harlingen. If anybody is here with the Harlingen Port Authority, we'd like to recognize you. And if you're here representing the Harlingen CISD, we would like to acknowledge you as well. Thank you for coming. And something I haven't seen in a while, I know that we have a few people in attendance that served our city as a mayor in the past. If you're present, we would like to acknowledge and recognize you. And as well, if you served our city as a city commissioner, we'd like to recognize you as well. I know I see one from here. And then at the very end, I want to acknowledge the people that I, as a past commissioner and other commissioners that are present, ask you to serve on a city board. If you're currently serving on a city board for the city of Harlingen, and there are all the boards, the airport board, the EDC, and all the other various boards, would you please stand and be acknowledged? And I hope I didn't miss anybody. So with that, welcome to Rotary, and we're going to move on with our agenda. Thank you.
I would also like to acknowledge some Rotarians that are here. We've got Eddie Bartneski, who is our past district governor. We have Kathy Preddy, who is our assistant district governor. We also have president of the Sunburst Club, Richard Mesquias. And we have the president of North Harlingen Club, Ross Salmeron. Where's Ross? Okay, she's back. Okay. So again, welcome everyone. And now it's time to introduce our guest speaker. Mayor Boswell was elected into office in May 2007. He also served as commissioner on the Harlingen City Commission from 1998 to 2007, and served as mayor pro tem twice, from 1999 to 2000 and 2004 to 2005. He served as president of the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council in 2010 and 2014. He is past president of the Harlingen-San Benito Metropolitan Planning Organization and originating member of the Transportation Policy Board of the Rio Grande Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization. He has served on the Northern Cameron County United Way Board and served on various committees there. He also served on the Greater Harlingen Chamber of Commerce Board and the Valley Zoologist Society Board, which is the Gladys Porter Zoo. He is also an Eagle Scout and has been an avid supporter of the Boy Scouts. In 1980, Mayor Boswell earned his Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance from the University of Texas at Austin, and in 1983 earned his Juris Doctor from Southern Methodist University. He is a partner at Curtis & Boswell LLP, Attorneys at Law. He is married to Anita, and they have 3 children. Please help me welcome the Honorable Chris Boswell, Mayor of the City of Harlingen.
Well, thank you. Thank you all very much. Thanks. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, Lucy. You know, in the past, the most stressful part of this address was waiting to be introduced by Ruthie. And I hope she's watching today somehow. We miss you, Ruthie, but I'm glad you didn't get to introduce me today. It is a great day in Harlingen, another great day as we celebrate the achievements of our city over the last year. So good afternoon and welcome to the 2022 State of the City of Harlingen Report. Once again, I want to thank the Rotary Club of Harlingen for sponsoring this annual event. Thank you, President Lucy Cardenas and Event Chair Pam Leverett, for your outstanding leadership of a club that does so much to serve our community. Thank you to Rotary members for volunteering at the many COVID-19 clinics here, sponsored by the City of Harlingen at this convention center. Your countless hours of volunteer efforts have made a real difference in the fight against COVID-19. The entire community appreciates the work that you have done. Last year, I talked at length about the collective efforts of our city staff, first responders, our partnership with Cameron County, and the heroic work of our medical community in battling the COVID pandemic. Those efforts have continued and are ongoing even now. We now hope, though, that we have seen the worst of this disease, which has wreaked so much havoc in our lives and many of our businesses, and we have reason to be optimistic for more normalcy and fewer casualties thanks to the prevention and treatment efforts of so many. We thank all of our first responders and our healthcare heroes. Despite all of the challenges brought on by the pandemic these last 2 years, Harlingen has continued to thrive. Indeed, the state of the city is strong. In fact, Harlingen grew its population by almost 11%, according to the recent census figures, 10.76% to be exact. The U.S. Census Bureau says we now have a population of 71,829. And that compares very favorably to the growth in Brownsville, measured at 6.69%, and the county at 3.37%. Now, Judge, before you throw anything at me, I'll be the first one to say that we were all undercounted, and that I am certain that Cameron County's census number does not reflect our true population. And we also believe that Harlingen was undercounted and that our population is much higher. Nevertheless, using the census as a measuring stick and comparing apples to apples, Harlingen has grown significantly by 10.76%, beating even McAllen's 9.49% growth rate. An 11% census growth rate will help us attract more business, retail outlets, restaurants, which rely almost exclusively on census figures in making their determinations on where to locate. So expect our census data to pay off in the coming years. Another strong indicator of Harlingen's rapid growth is our retail sales tax revenues. Our retail sales tax revenue have gone from $18.6 million in 2011 to almost $30 million in 2021, and we're on track to exceed the $33 million mark in retail sales revenues by year's end. That growth means that the economy in our city is strong. It means that we are adding businesses and restaurants, and that existing businesses are growing as well. It means we can provide the city services our citizens expect. It means we can adequately fund our police and fire departments through pay and equipment. And it means that we can pay our share of grants for drainage improvements. And it means that we can keep our property taxes low. At 62 cents per $100 valuation, our tax rate is among the lowest in the valley, lower on average by more than 12% of communities in Cameron County and most in Hidalgo County. These two leading indicators of our growth and prosperity, 11% population growth and skyrocketing retail sales, are remarkable achievements for our community and for all of our businesses, so congratulations to you. Let's talk about Harlingen's airport, Valley International. It continues to soar. In 2021, Valley International added its 7th airline. On May 6, 2021, Viva Aerobus began the first international airline service at our airport since 1996, flying nonstop to Monterrey. And recently, they have added one-stop connections to Cancun, Mexico City, and Guadalajara. American Airlines continues its pattern of growth by upsizing their service to larger dual-cabin airplanes. In addition, American Airlines extended their seasonal nonstop service to Chicago, starting the service 2 months early in 2021. And also in 2021, Frontier Airlines continued its expansion with new nonstop service to Las Vegas and Orlando. And of course, just a few days ago, Sun Country Airlines announced it would begin twice per week seasonal nonstop service to Cancun. That makes a total of 12 nonstop destinations flying out of Harlingen's airport. Southwest Airlines passenger numbers also increased in 2021, leading them to add approximately 80% more seats to the scheduled flights as of this month. This month, Southwest also began one daily nonstop to Dallas and added a second nonstop to Austin while maintaining 4 daily nonstops to Houston. All of this additional service has seen the last 3 months hitting 10-year record high levels of passenger enplanements at Valley International. To handle all of our international service, VIA completed upgrades to the largest operational federal inspection station facility in the Rio Grande Valley. It has 6 clearance lanes and is able to process 186 passengers in 50 minutes. The airport continues sprucing up the facility to make it the finest in South Texas. The runway extension project continues its progress, and we hope to see a groundbreaking on that later this year. We already have the longest runway in South Texas at 8,300 feet. The extension will add another 1,100 feet, making the runway a total of 9,400 feet. This added length will allow for large, wide-body Boeing 767 aircraft utilized by FedEx and DHL to carry more cargo in and out of the Rio Grande Valley. Along with the extension will be the addition of 2 brand new modern instrument landing systems that will allow for special Category 2 approaches. These new approaches will allow aircraft to come closer to the ground during inclement weather, reducing the possibility of diversions and flight cancellations. So congratulations to our airport board and to the Director of Aviation and his staff for the outstanding leadership at the best airport in the Valley. And it's not just the airport that's thriving. Business in general throughout the city is on the rise. Last November marked the 10th anniversary of the opening of Bass Pro Shops in Harlingen. And over the last 5 years, they've seen steady growth as reflected by this bar chart. Bass Pro Shops and Sam's have anchored the strong retail sales tax growth that I described earlier. So thanks, Arnold Gomez, manager of Sam's. We continue to add name brand retailers with TJ Maxx and Bread Smith Bakery, along with many others, opening their doors in Harlingen. Also soon to open is Dee Dee's Discounts, Party City, and the highly anticipated Moon Rock Food Truck Park. We also continue to realize growth and renovation in our fantastic downtown. Harlingen businessman Luis Verial and his partners opened the Post Executive Office Suite. This building is now home to the downtown post office, Senator Eddie Lucio's district office, as well as 9 other tenants. After years of most of the building being vacant, they leased 31,000 square feet of offices in 2021 and brought this beautiful downtown building back to life. They didn't stop there. In 2021, Mr. Verial and his partners also purchased San Pedro Plaza, located adjacent to the Reese. They have also beautifully restored this downtown building and are nearly complete on a reimagined 22,000 square feet of space. All of these projects and more have supported our unemployment rate returning to a very low level of 5.7% for December of 2021. Also contributing to our low unemployment was the continued growth of TaskUs, which opened their training center and headquarters at Valley Vista Mall. They have hired an additional 500 plus employees, making their total employment level at over 1,000. So we're very proud that TaskUs made Harlingen its home, and I'd like to recognize their leadership in the audience if they're here today. Nora Max, the operations manager. Is Nora here? Nora, thank you, and TaskUs. Also on the rise are our building permits and construction throughout the city. Overall, building permits grew by 55.28%, with a construction value of almost $110 million, up from almost $71 million in 2020, and then doubling over the last 7 years. Our new home permits also continued their growth by increasing 12.3%. We issued 256 permits in 2021 compared to 228 in 2020, and the increase in permits for multifamily, duplexes, and apartments were off the chart, growing by a whopping 530%, with a total construction value of almost $35 million in 2021 compared to $5.5 million in 2020. The total increase in permits in the city of Harlingen in 2021 was 899 compared to 759 in 2020. The growth in construction in our city this past year is remarkable, especially given the fact that we were in a pandemic. Also remarkable, given the pandemic, is that this convention center turned a small profit. In 2021, the Harlingen Convention Center hosted 412 events and generated $869,000 in revenue against $842,000 in expenses for a net income of almost $27,000. And this venue has served the community in a multitude of ways, from hosting social and charitable events to being the center of our vaccine clinics, and it will even serve as an early polling station. The community can be proud of this facility and how it has served the citizens of Harlingen. Our economy also means that our city is financially sound. The city of Harlingen anticipates finishing the fiscal year 2021-2022 with an estimated fund balance of over $24 million, which represents 164 days of operations. This fund balance positions the city to be able to fund important drainage and infrastructure projects without borrowing money. It also means that Harlingen's credit rating is a AA+. That rating reflects that credit rating companies see the city as having a very strong capability to meet financial commitments. This has been reaffirmed by Fitch Ratings, which reports that Harlingen has solid revenue growth prospects, superior financial resilience, exceptionally strong gap closing capacity, and moderate fixed costs. Fitch predicts Harlingen will continue to have strong reserve levels with a strong operating performance. And Standard & Poor's Rating Service also reports that Harlingen's economy is stable, predicting the fund balance will again remain above 30% of expenditures for the current and next fiscal years. For the 30th consecutive year, the City of Harlingen was awarded the Government Finance Officers Association's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, which recognizes financial transparency. Our finance department was also awarded the 2022 Investment Policy Certificate of Excellence by the Association of Public Treasurers for establishing a comprehensive investment policy. And Harlingen also received an unmodified audit opinion from external auditors Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. This is the best possible audit result, and we congratulate our city manager team and finance department for their exceptional stewardship of the city's finances. Our strong financial position allows the city to invest in infrastructure. We continued our priority commitment to improving our drainage infrastructure by completing another master drainage plan project, the $2.4 million 9th and 13th Street Drainage Improvements Project. This is the 27th project completed from our master drainage plan. And the City Commission allocated another $6 million of American Rescue Plan funds this past year for additional projects we hope to complete this year. That allocation will be directed toward drainage improvements, including the Jefferson Storm Sewer, the Business 77 and 13th Storm Sewer, the Lozano Detention Pond, and the West Commerce Storm Sewer projects. And we're also on track to receive almost $8 million in additional grant funding for 3 more drainage projects: the Business 77 and 13th Street Storm Sewer, the 5th and 7th Street Storm Sewer, and the 21st Street Storm Sewer. We also took the first steps in developing the City of Harlingen's Region 10 Flood Protection Planning Study. This $6.2 million flood mitigation study is funded by a $5.6 million grant from the Texas Water Development Board to examine 2 regional watersheds that includes over 295 square miles of terrain, 49 centerline miles of Arroyo Colorado, and over 740 additional centerline miles of existing drainage channels, ditches, and irrigation canals. This new data will provide a solid foundation toward providing a cohesive regional approach and solving many of the existing drainage challenges in our region. And I want to thank our partners in that project, the City of San Benito, the City of Primera, City of Combs, and Palm Valley. So thank you to and Cameron County. Thank you for our regional partners in that study. And sidewalks, they're almost finished. Funded by a $4 million grant from Texas Department of Transportation and another $500,000 from the Federal Highway Administration, these projects should wrap up by the end of the month and get our traffic flow back to normal, but we're going to have some great additions to our city and the ability and the walkability of our city. Now, clean water and wastewater treatment are critically important to the health of every city. They are important to our hospitals, our restaurants, and to every single resident. Yet this vital infrastructure is often taken for granted. The men and women of our public utility, the Harlingen Waterworks system, make sure that our water and wastewater treatment needs are met every single day. And they have been improving our system and planning for the future. In 2021, the Harlingen Waterworks completed the replacement of 17,500 feet of water mains in the Treasure Hills area, where the aging and fragile pipe had been prone to frequent leaks. Waterworks chose to use a pipe bursting construction method to limit disruption to residents. This $3.1 million project is the first of a series of similar wastewater main replacement projects planned for the next 20 years. The Waterworks also recently completed a 30-month effort to develop the most comprehensive master plan for water and wastewater infrastructure in its 80-year history. With the help of sophisticated hydraulic models and extensive calibration data, the plan proposes a large set of capital projects that will solve existing overloading and pressure issues, provide backbone infrastructure to facilitate future growth, and replace aging pipelines throughout the city. The plan calls for an aggressive infrastructure construction of more than $100 million by 2030 to address existing needs. This planning effort sets a foundation for first-rate water and sewer attendance for decades to come. Parks and recreational sports facilities are also important to the quality of life in any city. They promote health and well-being among its residents, and they serve to attract visitors and newcomers to our city. Last year, we improved several existing facilities and planned to literally launch a new one. In March of 2021, we opened the all-new Lonsea Hill Destination Park on Fair Park Boulevard. Phase 2 is already in the design process and includes building special needs ball field and extending the walking trail north across the street to run behind the Casa de Amistad. After we opened this last year, if you haven't gone over to Fair Park and just, even if you don't want to get out of your car, just park there and see all of the families and all of the children playing in that water fountain and in that all-inclusive playground, and I guarantee you it will warm your heart. So these park projects are funded by a 1/8 of a 1 cent sales tax apportioned to the Community Improvement Board, and the funding of which is restricted to projects like park projects. I want to thank our Community Improvement Board for their great stewardship of these funds. In December of 2021, we cut the ribbon for the new HEB Tennis Center, another great project for our youth. Located at Pendleton Park, the center now includes a pro shop, air-conditioned space, and a covered patio. The pro shop includes an office, training room, restrooms, and a spectator viewing area and a lobby. The cost is $712,000, with the majority coming from a 2001 certificate of obligation bond and $115,000 from HEB to resurface all 14 tennis courts. This will allow us to attract tournaments at the very much improved HEB tennis complex. So thank you to our great corporate citizen, HEB. Last July, the city commenced its new B-Cycle bike share program with new bike rent stations at the Lonsea Hill Destination Park, McKelvey Park, and our museum. In November, the library opened the state's first automated 24-hour library by Envisionware at Lonsea Hill Park. Additionally, this park now has free Wi-Fi. And soon, Harlingen will have its first Blue Trail. A kayak launching facility is under design thanks to a grant from the Texas Parks and Wildlife. The facility will be located at McCullough Park, and it will allow residents and visitors access to kayak up and down the Arroyo Colorado. That's pretty cool. You know, we're exceptionally proud of our men and women of the Harlingen Police Department. And make no mistake, the City Commission and I are intensely focused on providing our police department the funding it deserves and the resources it needs to do the job, because they do a great job. In 2021, the City of Harlingen had an overall decrease in the crime rate of 7.7%. And if you look back 5 years, violent crime would decrease 13%, and property crimes have decreased 18%. These statistics are vitally important to our residents, and they are important in telling our story to visitors, professionals, and businesses looking to come to Harlingen so that they know that we are a safe city and that our city is not marred by the violence and criminal activity which unfortunately we have seen on the rise in other parts of the state and nation. Our police department promotes so many great activities which contribute to our safety and which is the hallmark of great community policing. Their sponsorship of National Night Out, Run with the Heroes, and Shop with a Cop all contribute to a sense of partnership between our citizens and our police men and women. These are wonderful activities, and we are very proud of our police department for hosting them. They truly are heroes. And so are the civilian support staffers who work with our police department. I want to recognize one of them here today. Would Harlingen Police Dispatcher Moises Cruz please stand? And if you'll, and please remain standing. On Christmas Eve, just before noon, Mr. Cruz received a 911 call that was disconnected. When he called back, he discovered a panicked father whose wife had just given birth, and the baby was not breathing and was turning purple. While another dispatcher called for an ambulance, Mr. Cruz instructed the parents on how to perform child CPR. Because of his quick thinking and calm and clear instructions, the parents were able to perform CPR on the newborn until emergency personnel arrived, saving the baby's life. Chief Kester has praised Mr. Cruz, calling him a hero and saying that his experience, knowledge, and actions under pressure are in keeping with the highest standards of service and core values of the Harlingen Police Department. He is an outstanding example of the critically important role that 911 dispatchers play as first responders in service to the public. And for these actions, Mr. Cruz has been awarded the Life Saving Award by Chief Kester. The Life Saving Award is the highest award given by the Harlingen Police Department. So let's give him another big round of applause. Thank you. As COVID-19 continued to strengthen its hold on the nation and the demand for vaccines grew, last year the city dedicated more than 100 employees to conduct vaccine clinics in Harlingen. Working with nurses and staff from Valley Baptist Hospital, Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District, South Texas Emergency Care Foundation, and community volunteers, the clinics were held bi-monthly here at the Harlingen Convention Center as the region worked tirelessly to slow the spread of infectious disease. In 2021, the city held 74 clinics and administered 28,509 vaccines. Weekly vaccine clinics continue at our health department and here at the convention center. To help our homebound population and lend a helping hand at the city vaccine clinics, 15 Harlingen firefighters underwent specialized training preparing them to administer COVID-19 vaccines to Harlingen residents. Together with STEC, emergency medical technicians, they've administered hundreds of shots throughout the city, helping people with minimal mobility or a form of disability that prohibits them from leaving their homes. Harlingen was the first city in the Rio Grande Valley to implement a homebound vaccination program. With us today are some of those 15 firefighters and representatives of South Texas Emergency Care Foundation, and I'd like them to stand and be recognized. Thank you all. Although Harlingen as a whole continued to thrive economically, there's no question that many in our community suffered, not only from disease, but from financial hardship. So for almost 2 years, the city of Harlingen and the food bank RGV held monthly distributions at the Harlingen Soccer Complex. Thousands of families in Cameron County have been helped. The food was provided by the food bank and distributed once a month by city employees and volunteers. The effort began in April 2020 when COVID-19 was at its highest levels and many people were out of a job. That year, the city and food bank distributed over 500,000 pounds of food, benefiting over 40,000 people. In 2021, over 1.1 million pounds of food were distributed to over 80,000 people. We're grateful to all the police officers, firefighters, city staff, and volunteers who have continued to help with this effort. Here in Harlingen, we have always thought of our efforts in developing more and more healthcare infrastructure and medical education as not only a core economic driver, but also one which enhances our quality of life. There are approximately 1,232 healthcare facilities in Harlingen, employing over 12,000 employees. The healthcare industry in Harlingen has over twice the expected employment for medical-related jobs compared to the United States average, and we're expected to grow those jobs by 2% over the next year. There are over 10 million square feet of healthcare facilities that have been developed here in the city, with more on the horizon. Knowing that healthcare in Harlingen is such an important part of our economy is one of the many reasons we're so proud of our partnership with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. The year 2021 brought two important milestones and celebrations of that partnership. The first was the ribbon-cutting ceremony for UTRGV Institute of Neuroscience in October. EON houses clinics and diagnostic centers for numerous neuropsychiatric and aging disorders, while also leading the way forward in clinical and laboratory research. Their world-renowned neurologists, other clinical specialists, and scientists work together to create personalized diagnostic and treatment plans of the highest quality. Their researchers are also leading the way on Alzheimer's disease, stem cell, and medication therapies. for neuropsychiatric disorders and neuromodulation of the spinal cord injury as well. EON will house the state's only National Institute on Aging designated Alzheimer's Disease Research Center to help examine and better understand how this disease impacts Hispanics. EON is a great partnership between the City of Harlingen, our EDC, which secured the land over 10 years ago, UTRGV, and the South Texas Medical Foundation. But it would also not have been possible without the help and support of the Legacy Foundation. We thank Executive Director Judy Quisenberry and her board of directors for their support. We also thank medical school pioneers, former Mayor Randy Whittington and former Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Chairman Bob Shepard and their wives Merced and Ann, who have been honored with the naming of the lobby at the Institute of Neurosciences. The Shepard-Whittington lobby. Randy, stand up, please. Congratulations. And then a month later, in November, the second milestone was the ribbon cutting on the UTRGV Harlingen Collegiate High. The City of Harlingen supplied the land for this awe-inspiring partnership between UTRGV and the Harlingen School District. Not only do we now have UTRGV medical education in Harlingen, but general education that will allow students to complete 2 years of university education prior to high school graduation and complete selected 4-year degrees in the same building without having to leave home. We're so proud of this partnership and this achievement, and we congratulate the school district, UTRGV, for this great partnership. But wait, there's more. Today, we are happy to announce that UTRGV's new School of Podiatric Medicine will reside on the university's Harlingen Medical Campus. This will be the first school of podiatry in the state of Texas, and will allow students to pursue careers in the medical and surgical care of foot and ankle, an important specialization for the Valley, with its high incidence of diabetes and related diseases of the lower extremities. So as we applaud this new addition to the array of UTRGV medical education on the horizon for Harlingen, we look ahead for even more to come. Clearly, Harlingen's future will be significantly linked to the progress of UTRGV, not just in our city, but throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Supporting and nurturing this strong relationship is important to Harlingen, so it is our collective responsibility to support the efforts and the leadership of UTRGV, not only here, but in Austin. We are blessed to have visionary leadership at the helm of UTRGV and UTRGV School of Medicine. So thank you, President Guy Bailey, Dr. Jana Arney, and School of Medicine Dean Michael Hawker for all that you are doing to elevate not only educational opportunities in the Rio Grande Valley, but our quality of life in so many different ways. Also, looking to the future, the City Commissioners met for a 2-day retreat here at the Harlingen Convention Center last July. Guided by Dr. Mike Mowry, President of Leadership Development for Strategic Government Resources, the Commission agreed on a strategic plan which the city staff has already begun implementing. The pillars of that long-range plan focus heavily on infrastructure development, including drainage and waterworks capital improvements, expanding educational opportunities, including strengthening our partnership with UTRGV, expanding manufacturing operations in Harlingen, promoting healthcare industry, and promoting our quality of life. Another initiative for our future involves improving connectivity to information and communication provided by the internet through broadband. So in September, the City Commission approved a $100,000 feasibility study to provide the city with information needed to analyze, select, and implement the most sustainable and innovative approach for expanding broadband access in the community. The Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District is also a partner in this effort and is sharing the cost. The engineering firm selected to provide this service, Cobb Findlay, has a strong reputation as a leader in the telecommunications industry. This initiative is about much more than student access to the internet throughout the city, although we learned just how critical that was during the pandemic. It's also about seizing opportunities to build last-mile fiber optic cable to significantly improve the quality of our connectivity. Higher quality fiber optic connection can open the doors to greatly expanded economic activity, being competitive and attracting businesses which rely on the highest quality connection and even improving access to telemedicine. Broadband and fiber optic cable has been compared to the electric service itself in the late 20th century. If we don't want future opportunities to pass us by, we must sooner or later invest in the technology of the future. We anticipate significant funding to be made available by state and federal programs, and Harlingen aims to tap into those opportunities. So if you haven't taken the broadband survey, help us out and go to myharlingen.us and take the survey. It's the first thing that will pop up. Our strategic plan initiative reminded us that Harlingen has a seat at the table in aerospace manufacturing with the presence of United Launch Alliance, America's Ride to Space. That presence and the future of aerospace opportunity were underscored when we received visitors from NASA last August. Astronauts led by Commanders Butch Wilmore, Sunita Williams, visited the United Launch Alliance site in Harlingen, where major components of the Atlas V rocket are manufactured. The Atlas V will launch their Boeing Starliner reusable space capsule when astronauts are launched into space from American soil for the first time in decades. Commander Wilmore said that when he and his crew launch aboard the Atlas V, they will be that rocket's first ever self-loading payload. That's a joke, but I guess you had to be there when he said it. Get it? They can get in the payload themselves. They don't have to be. They flew down to take a look at the high-quality advanced manufacturing that goes on here in our city. Important parts of these rockets are proudly made in Harlingen, Texas, USA. When ULA and SpaceX already here with a proven track record of a workforce that can support aerospace, with the nation's highest quality workforce training institution, Texas State Technical College, here to train aerospace workers, and UTRGV to train aerospace engineers, why not more? Why not more aerospace? Indeed, why not more for our city and for our valley and all of its residents? Helping launch astronauts into space is not just a dream, it's a reality. In the last few years, the potential for our city and our region has truly begun to seem limitless. We are blessed by a great workforce, tremendous institutional and business partners, and the ambition and drive to bring it all together to move to even greater heights. Each and every one of you and the organizations that you represent are building this city and this region. You are creating opportunities. You are improving the lives of our residents. Thank you to all of you. Before I close, as always, I have to thank my wonderful wife, Anita. Thank you, Anita. As I close, I ask that we all pray for peace. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. God bless the great state of Texas. And God bless this great city of Harlingen.
Thank you, Mayor. Oops. Thank you, Mayor, and this is a small token of our appreciation. It did come in.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Lots happening in Harlingen. Please sit. On your tables, you'll see a little brochure, and it talks about Rotary and the things that we do, and we give back to the community. The net proceeds of this event will be going towards a token of our appreciation to the city of Harlingen. Our club will be turning 100 years next year, and so we're giving back to the city. In the brochure, it talks about the things that we do. We do volunteer with the COVID clinic. We also help volunteer with distributing food and many other things that we do. If you're interested in Rotary, my information is in the back. Call me, text me, email me if you want to know a little bit more about Rotary. With all of this, will you please stand and recite with me the four-way test of the things we say, think, and do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And I have a 5th, which is, will it be fun? And it will be fun. With this, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
This was a special presentation of the State of the City Address, presented by the City of Harlingen.